Yeah, I can't say how proud I am of this football team. I mean, just the way they came out in that second half. I mean, first half, they were prepared, they were ready, came out and battled. We had some opportunities to make some plays in the first half that we didn't, and it cost us, but we didn't panic. I thought we did a good job of staying on the script, and I challenged the guys at halftime, man. Let's finish. Let's finish each play, and let's come out and let's finish this game. And the way our offense coming out in that first drive to start the second half, we were sending a message, and our defense did a great job responding on there and shutting them down. And I just that last drive, to me, that told our team after the game that's you're kind of developing yourself an identity and be able to take that ball. I think 10 minutes, 11 minutes to hold on to that thing and drive the length of the field. That was critical. But these guys did a great job across the board. And like I said, they stayed plugged in the entire game, and they didn't flinch, and it was awesome.
Jackson, for you, after kind of an up and down game last week, but this was probably your best game of the season so far. I know it's early, but was there anything you were kind of seeing differently especially kind of in that second half, both milking the clock and obviously scoring on that opening drive in the second half?
I mean, no, we were just doing what we do best. And I think, last week was last week. We learned from it, we grew from it, and we just took it a day at a time. And, come today, we were ready, we were prepared, and that's all we were focused on. So I think the guys did a really great job, especially that, like Coach Mack said, that last drive was 11 minutes. Like that's who we are. That's what we've been doing for, years and years. And I think that was a culmination of what we've been doing.
For you, I think it's a career day, and in terms of rushing the football, what were you kind of just seeing out of the backfield today? UNQ, I think, almost had 200 yards, so just kind of, I know they have a stingy run defense, so.
Yeah, it was just big shout out to the coaching staff, Coach Chapman, putting people where they got to be. We got a really deep running back room. Anyone in there could put them in and they'll perform at a high level. So it's really just trusting the dudes, trusting the people up front, opening up holes for us, and then, just hitting it with all you got. So big shout outs to O-line, big shout outs to coaching staff, putting us in the position that we need to be in.
Jordan, for you, just in terms of, Penn has a lot of weapons kind of in their receiving core, but especially Jared Richardson. He had 2 catches for 18 yards last year. He had 2 catches for 18 yards today. What did y'all do in terms of being able to limit him especially? And then were you kind of aware of any of the outside noise he was kind of talking about before the game started?
Yeah, I was definitely aware of the outside noise. I feel like Coach McCorkle did a great job displaying that to us and relaying that to the team. But in regards to the game plan with the defense, Coach Lark and Coach Dobbs, they do a great job with even Coach Brooks, the game plan, and just limited them. So the game plan was just really solid, and we just executed at a high level, the whole defense as a whole, and went out there and did our stuff.
I'll ask you another question here. Like Coach Mack said, there were sort of 2 dropped interceptions early in the first half. How do you guys stay composed as a D-back unit, maintain composure, and pull out the wins at?
Yeah. I mean, that's just the art of being a defensive back. Like, you got to move on to the next play. There are going to be some good ones, going to be some bad ones, and I think the great players know how to move on from the bad ones really good. So that's all part of it.
One more, just in terms of that beginning of the fourth quarter, Penn was making the drive down the field, and y'all were able to hold them to a field goal. Those 2 pass breakups from Tyson, what did you kind of see from your vantage point? What does that just say to the secondary as a whole?
Oh yeah, my guy Tyson, he was locked in, man. Yeah, I think both of those plays we were both comboing that, and he just did a great job of helping other people, eyes on the quarterback. He was out there balling, so he had a great game.
Brock, I'll ask you, 4 third-down conversions in that final drive. 3 of them went right to Paxton. What is it between you guys that just gets the job done on 3rd down when you need it?
Yeah, we just have a connection. We've had it for the last couple of years, but I mean, it wasn't just him. It was all the other guys who were making blocks or blocking up front. And I think it's, like I said before, it's a culmination of what everybody else is doing. But yeah, he's been doing that for a long time. I don't know what he is in, the record books or whatever, but that's just what he does. He comes up, in clutch moments, and we definitely needed those 3 conversions to get down there. And I mean, like Coach Mack said, 11 minutes is a whole quarter pretty much. So, if that's what it took to win the game, that's what we had to do. So really proud of the guys.
Great job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I mean, Coach, on a weekend where you're honoring Buddy, obviously you had the stadium dedication officially last night, and I know it's an emotional weekend, but what does it say about this group to get the win, move to 3-0 in the season, but also just do it just in these circumstances too?
It was special. It really was. And obviously, I thought last night was phenomenal. The school did a great job. And that was our big thing. We wanted to make sure that we went out there and we represented Dartmouth the way that Buddy Tevens would want us to represent it. And I thought our players, they did that. And our coaching staff and our players, I thought that's Dartmouth football, and that's what we did out there today.
Yeah, you held some pretty impressive players in Penn to not have outstanding games, and that's why you guys came away with this victory primarily. Can you talk about the defensive unit and also your guys preparing for what were supposed to be stars on that Penn team?
I mean, obviously when you scout a team, you're going to find their best players, and you want to make somebody else beat you. You don't want to, at the end of a game, when the game's over, you don't want their best player to be the one to beat you. And you got to do whatever you can to make sure that doesn't happen. And I thought Coach Dobbs and Coach Lark and Coach Brooks and Coach Casalito did a great job on defense of preparing our guys. And our guys did a really good job of being assignment sound. And because Penn will hurt you if you're not in the right spot, or if you're bad with your eyes, or you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay for it. And so we had to be assignment sound every snap. But at the same time, I talked about it this week. We're not going to we're not going to be hesitant. I don't want any hesitation. Go play. Go play. And if you don't second guess yourself. And I thought our guys did a good job, and I think offensively the same thing.
Yeah, and then there was obviously that RPO to Namian, and then one to Ward that was overthrown, or he just didn't get his hands on it. But can you talk about those sort of plays, how you drew them up?
Yeah. I had coach staff and offensive staff did a phenomenal job all week. And the whole thing is just keeping them off balance. You want to mix it up, mix it around, and I thought they did a really good job of that. And, we knew as a team that offensively that we're going to take what they give us. And if that means we're going to throw a 3-yard route, 4-yard route, we're going to do that. If that means we're going to, run the ball inside, we're going to do that. And the key was to keep the sticks moving, keep the chains moving, control the ball, keep their offense off the field as much as we possibly can. And I thought pretty much the game we did that. We just got to continue. We got to continue to prove when we get down that red zone. We got to score touchdowns. And that's the one thing we're going to – and then obviously, penalties. We can't have penalties to put us in a bad situation. You can't have that happen when you're on a roll. You can't allow that to stop that drive. So we got a lot of work we got to do for sure.
That final drive, obviously we've talked about it, was 11 minutes. Were you planning to sort of slow burn them, or did you want to go out there, score early, get up 10?
Yeah, we went out there initially. You run your normal offense. There's a lot of time on the clock, so you don't want to, But as we start to get to a certain part of the field and the clock gets down to a certain range, that's when you got to be a little bit more strategic on what you're doing. And I thought our guys did a phenomenal job. I thought Proc did a great job managing that game, managing that situation. Obviously, you can, you tell your offense to do stuff and to do that, but the fact he's got to go out there and do it. And I thought he did a phenomenal job of managing that at the end, for sure.
You talked about how it's playoff time and that the past kind of isn't the past. But what did you see differently from this group? People look at the score lines and they'll see a 3-point victory this week and a 2-point victory last week. But what would you see from your group that was different from this one versus the Merrimack one?
Well, I think our guys did a good job of taking one play at a time. And they knew it was going to be a battle. But our guys did a good job of sticking to their jobs, their fundamentals, keep making sure they stay fundamental throughout the entire game. But I think just the confidence, right? They played with confidence. And it was a quiet confidence, but you could tell when offensively and defensively, and our guys took the field, they were hungry. And I told the guys at halftime, let's just finish each play, focus on that one play, and do whatever you got to do to finish that play. I thought our guys did a good job responding.
About you kind of making them aware of the outside noise. What did that kind of look like in the build up to this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we, the comments were made, and hey, if you want to make our guys aware of it, and I think our guys did a good job of understanding it, hearing that, and they knew they were hungry, ready to go out there and prove a point, and I think that's what they did today.
Just one last one about Zalk. That kid just doesn't seem to miss even when it's from far. How much confidence does that give you? You can get to the 30-yard line and have a realistic shot.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it does, and it really does help with your calls. It really does. We communicate that. We talk about that all the time. Our special teams unit is prepared. Our offense understands. Hey, this is the spot we got to get to. Obviously, it was a little bit of a win today. Going each direction, so that changed a little bit. But and he does a great job of being honest and telling you, hey, this is my range. This is where I can do it. And that helps us offensively because it does allow you to manage the game at that time.
Your backfield today, I know I talked about Q and Desmond combining for almost 200 yards. What did you see from them, and then especially Desmond stepping into this role today? Because what was DJ out, or was he just okay?
Yeah, a little bit of an injury, so we kept him out. Now, once again, those guys they run hard. They run hard, but at the same time, they hit the hole. When they hit that hole, they're explosive when they hit the hole. But they do a very good job of understanding our block schemes, understanding where the holes are going to be. Every one of those guys, they have great vision. But I tell you, and Coach Chapman has done a phenomenal job with those guys. But very impressed. Obviously, that's Q. Q's a physical runner. He's going to run. He's going to get that extra yard. But I tell you, watching Des play today, that's huge. I mean, for his confidence. And him to come out there and play the way he did and play and run hard and be able to make big plays, man, that's big time. Yeah, thank you guys.